You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the July 10th, 2024 meeting of the Long Beach Board of Zoning Appeals. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
I call this July 10th, 2024 meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals to order. We'll start with a roll call. Charlie Goodall. Here. Bob O'Malley. Here. Fred Wood. Here. Seth McCormick is here. Charlie Ringgold is not present. Will you please all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The clerk treasurer circulated the meeting minutes prior to the meeting. Did everybody get a copy and get a chance to review them? Yes. Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes. Second. All in favor? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? It carries. We have no old business. We have no new business, so we can move on to the preliminary hearings. Clerk treasurer, can you read the first preliminary hearing into the record?
This is the opening of a preliminary hearing for William and Tricia Butcher of 1902 Monrovia Drive. It's a developmental standards variance petition requesting variance from the requirements of section 154-106, structure projection into setbacks. I think it's front setbacks, but maybe not. Petitioner is seeking a variance to allow a porch within the 30-foot front setback. The preliminary hearing is set to open tonight.
Are you Mr. Butcher? Yeah. Okay. Come on.
I'm Bill Butcher. My wife and I own
Yeah. Got it?
I'm Bill Butcher. My wife and I own 1902 Monrovia for about 10 years, where we split time in our house in Flossmoor. A couple of weeks ago, we sold Flossmoor to live up here full time. And especially my wife was greatly interested in adding a front porch to the house. It was brought to my attention that it appears we may need a variance for two things, in addition to the 30-foot front setback variance that you've got ordinance 154.052 that says that a detached or attached accessory structure shall not be in the front yard. Well, this porch will be a front porch. So I don't know if I can make a request or motion to orally amend the petition to add relief from that as well. I'm guessing that was kind of meant more for sheds and things like that, but it would possibly apply to a front porch as well.
It's attached to the house, right?
Yeah. Well, the site, it says detached or attached accessory structure.
Here's what I maybe let him go through and present what he's at before when they can talk. That discussion with the commission.
Saturday. Okay.
Okay. And I know that I think some folks stopped by the house to take a look at it, and maybe the easiest thing, you get a lot of stuff in your emails, it happens, I guess, but this is my house, okay? So this is this is the house of 1902 Monrovia. This is my wife's dream, and this is a similar looking house with just a front porch. So, I don't know if that's able to kind of describe the issue, but like everybody on Monrovia, everyone thinks they own much more land than they do. And you know, while I seem to have a big front yard relative to a lot of houses on Monrovia, it's nowhere near the 30 feet that would be needed to add, approximately, I think, a fairly standard porch is 8 feet, or at least that's what a contractor that I had talked to build the porch had a discussion with the building inspector, and they came from that discussion and said something about 8 feet. So again, whether that's standard or not, I'm not sure. Until I got the variance, I didn't want to spend any great amount of time with structural, you know, drawings or things from, you know, it's not the biggest project in the world, but again, my petition is seeking relief from the one as filed was for the 30-foot setback, but now again, it would appear that, 154.052 also would need. I'm seemingly fine on coverage. A engineer friend of mine did a manual mock-up of my survey, and the, you know, coverage is, you know, only, I think, at about 30%, and your zoning requirements limited to allow up to 35%. So those are just the, you know, that's the petition. I guess if you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Sure. I mean, a little afraid to turn the microphone, but I'm
I mentioned it to the birthday today, I wish I over that big, my be $200.
Turn this off.
No, that is, that the problem, I don't know.
I certainly don't. Is that good enough?
I don't know.
That's what. Okay. Okay, I do have several questions. You're coming in and asking for essentially a 38 by 8 foot variance from the code to build a 38 by 8 foot. You're asking variance from the code to build a 38 by 8 foot porch. And you've given us a picture of your wife's greenhouse, but you don't have plans. And so I want to be careful in terms of what you're asking, because if you change it,
Yeah,
you're gonna have.
understood.
So if you want to go 9 feet or 8.5 feet.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Understood.
Okay. So, I mean, I just want to caution you that if it changes in any way.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, it's time to me, it's expensive. And so I just want to make sure you understand that before we continue on down this way.
Okay, well, I guess one thing that would probably help you and I is the existing house has like a front load porch. I'm using that term, I'm not building, you know, it has like a front load porch. 8 foot forward will push 8 foot in front of the house and push the stairs also 8 feet. Is that what, like, when I present this, I want to make sure that like we're on the same page. That's what will seem to work best in my opinion. You know, it might be able to be structured a little differently, but, you know, and I did, one of the attachments has an 8 foot square. Again, it's not super detailed, but I believe there's an 8 foot square, you know, projected along the width of the house. It's yet to be determined whether it's going to be the entire front like facade or just a smaller amount. So again, I kind of drew this as the largest possible amount, and if we had to make it smaller.
Okay. And then, so now when you're talking to, and I have another question, was, I mean, right now, you've got the Alcon suit, I mean, right, it comes off from the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
The wall.
Yeah.
And are you going to move that forward, or are you going to incorporate that into the porch?
I would ask the board to consider this as moving everything forward 8 feet. If you say that, boy, moving everything forward 8 feet makes that stoop like so far out that bothers us, I'd have to try to figure out some way to do something else, like maybe enter the porch from the side or something like that. You know, but as the house currently has like a peaky like thing above there, it would just seem to look a little better from the front if it was, you know, again, more like you can say, and I know this is, forgive me for not committing more but
No, I
you
get it.
know what I mean? But yeah, I would like to just, like, again, I think you know, everything you put forward from this would be what I would ask. If you say, hey, we're not gonna approve that, you know, everything can be no further than 8 feet. So be it, I'll figure out if we can do it, and if we can't do it, I won't do it, but.
Well, so I was wondering, that's not what you asked for. Like, you asked for 8 feet, so you can put a porch up, but you haven't asked to move the front stoop up an additional how many feet that stoop.
Okay, yeah, then that was my error. I thought that 8 foot from this part of the house would be 8 feet, and 8 foot from the stoop would be 8 feet, but I can,
Yeah, I'm not thinking difficult, I just want to,
Yeah.
the way you asked for is when we went through grant denied, and then you check, there's no.
Yeah.
It's gonna be an additional time.
Okay.
So that's what, I understand that you're not an engineer, and you're trying to.
Yeah.
Work with plans.
Yeah.
And all it's possible, but my thought would be, you want to ask for the 8 feet for the porch, and then you want to ask for however long that street is.
Yeah.
In addition to what you want is like, an 8 foot by 38 foot variance, and then an additional, like,
Okay.
4 foot by, you know,
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you need to be very particular in what you're asking for, so that we know that we can evaluate whether or not it complies with the standards and whether or not you meet the standards for the variance. And that's something we can fix between now and the public hearing, I think.
okay,
And we can talk about it, and I just want to make sure that you understand that, like, go to the building commission with the way this is done now, the way you just told us, they're gonna say you have to come back to this.
yeah.
Okay?
Okay, and I don't think, like I said, I don't think it's impossible to build, you know, a porch that doesn't push everything out. May I ask if to say it would be, everything would be 8 feet, so 8 feet for, you know, 8 feet for the porch coming out from the existing house, and 8 feet for the stoop, you're replacing the existing stoop. Would you say that you would be inclined to say no?
Well, honestly, like, you said you were good front yard, and I thought it was, I don't know exactly the distances from the current students to the street, but it's not humongous, I want to see what the proportion was,
Yeah.
but it's not, I wouldn't just say no.
Okay,
That's not what you're telling me.
okay,
I want to see what, that's what I'm saying, I want to see what the plans are, and what I think is that what you're proposing here is going to enhance the load of the house, right? And I think what you're asking for in terms, and this is just my opinion,
yeah,
what you're stating to me that, like, moving the street forward so it incorporates kind of your dream house.
Yeah.
Makes sense in terms of the design standpoint,
yeah.
but I don't know anything else beyond that, because I just, I've seen.
If, I mean, again, I know this isn't much, I can step forward. So this, that has a drawing of the 38 by 8 foot possible porch.
Right.
Now, again, that does not have an extra thing on the stoop, so that's my error, you know, my engineer kind of error. But I think you can see, it looks like he has 18, I think it's 18 feet from, you know, from the picture. That gives you some idea of the size of the front yard. And there's, I think, a few people pass by, so we know there. Okay, the big tree that you see in line up, the true lot line, that's the street.
Okay.
Yeah, if it would be possible for me to provide, you guys, I think, today decide whether or not this can move to a public hearing where I give notice to neighbors, so that, if that's correct, my understanding correct? Tell me, do you need me to give you more information about the specific design before this goes to that phase? Do we need to continue this for one more BZA meeting like this? Or can we set the public hearing and can I provide additional things? Is that anything anyone can?
Well, I mean, this is one of those, that's entirely up to you, right? I mean, we've asked you questions, I've asked you questions, and if we follow the board, we should have comment and ask you questions. So we're not quite done yet. I think based on our feedback and then what we're telling you that you probably need to look at for the public hearing. You'll need to make a decision whether you want to revise your petition. And then come back to us again, or whether you're going to move on to the public hearing, anticipating that you'll be able to make the changes necessary, to seek the relief that you actually want. And then we can make that determination up here. You know, this is essentially the whole area is kind of like looking before the public hearing. Sorry, those are speaking, probably speaking English, so I don't think I understand. I can.
Well, just to give you an idea, if this is Neil here. If you needed to submit additional things, it's 2 weeks from today,
Okay,
would be the deadline.
okay,
So
yeah.
2 weeks prior to the next.
So, let's actually have, I'm assuming that the other board members will have comments or questions, and then you can, and then we'll probably take some input from Chris, because I know you'll obviously have to update it for the possibility of the other variants or something. But I will say that, if you take a swing at the public hearing and it ends up getting denied, then you have to wait a year to talk about that. So, maybe, yeah, it's one of the, it's how fast you want it and how often it's gonna pass, and so we just don't know what it's saying.
Do you require an architect drawing? Would a contractor drawing be acceptable? Would my drawing or a civil engineer friend of mine drawing, or would you need stamped plans? Is there anything you can say you demand?
I don't, not us, I think you will need that for the building. But that's not, we have variance requests, it's very public cost.
I think they have what they're saying. I think the challenge right now is we're trying for the 38 value, which is, perfect wrong. If we go and, you go send out letters to your neighbors, et cetera, and y'all approve a 30 value report, of course you come back here and you get a 30 value report, but then you build a 30 value report with that SKU box.
Yeah.
Right, that's what it's, okay, right? I think the challenge is, your neighbors need to know
Yeah.
what you want, and we need to know. And I think regardless of, we try to be fair, as long as we know what we got,
Okay.
and as long as it meets acceptable, I think I said it.
Okay. So if the staircase was essentially inside the porch, then I would be fine. I wouldn't have to necessarily amend. But that's my impression. You guys may have a different impression, but I'm guessing that it could easily be built like that and probably not look terribly worse, but, yeah, okay.
Yeah. And we're not telling you that you can have a variance for the student the way you want it, but there's, you're not asking for.
Yeah.
Understood. Okay.
So looking at this, what you propose, the rectangle, that's 18.4 feet, is that what that is?
Well, no, I think 18 by 4, that's a measurement of the concrete.
Concrete, the drive.
Yeah, it's not a drive, it's a walk.
So how far is from the paved portion of Monrovia to the front of your proposed porch?
I don't see that measurement.
We don't need to know that.
From the
Actually, what we need to know is how far from the right of it, which is at least 10 feet from the paved portion, right? Or it's 10 feet. So I think we need to know how far it is from 10 feet from Monrovia, the paved portion of Monrovia, to the front of what you're proposing to build. Because I think the setback is 30 feet. We need to know exactly how much of a variance you're getting. In other words, if it's 30 feet and you want 10 feet, then that's what we need to approve, is 10 feet.
Well, I'm not sure, when you say right of way, are you talking about, my property line is generally 10 feet from the road? Is that
Yeah,
true?
you don't know 10 feet from the road. That's,
Yeah, well, I assume that's the dark line That's,
I suspect that is, I'm just wondering what that distance is then from that dark line to what you're proposing to build.
okay, and that's what I believe to be 18 feet.
Okay, well, we need, because it's got it kind of in the middle there.
Understood.
It sort of needs to be the day course, we need to know that.
Okay, okay,
And then we also need to know how far it is if you decide you want to ask for the suit.
yeah,
We need to know how far it is from the suit, let's say dark line.
okay,
And it has happened that people that come to the BZA asking for things and then getting part of it denied. So I believe if you ask for the suit, this board, the board to say, you can build the correct.
Yeah.
But you can't build the suit.
there's a,
Am I right on that? Like, I think we've heard that.
And the alternative, and it's going to back it down, everything built in the. That's just different.
okay,
No, I mean, one of the things I noticed when I turned in down, here down, I think there's a tree kind of right, or the right next to the kind of closest to the student. And it looks like that had to come down.
I think that's I think this is a bit of an optical illusion. When we were looking at it, that tree would not come down. You're talking about this.
That's right.
Yeah, no, that does not, not that there is another reason to bring down a tree that hangs over your house, but no, that is not something that we expected to do.
Both those trees that are pictured.
Yeah,
I guess it'd be good to know, especially considering your health, that particularly that tree on the right.
okay, and I can measure that in Excel, I can measure all these things easily, so.
And the other thing would be good to know, how far is it from your house to the end of it?
Yeah,
Exactly, it's just.
okay.
But I'll put that.
Okay, so we can do that for you. We can continue this hearing, but from there, you can go back and make the changes based on our suggestions. Then you can come back with one more preliminary hearing.
That would be a month from
Today
today.
should be a month from today, and provide that you met the deadlines.
Yeah.
And so then we can relook at this and ask you questions again. We can also get
Clarity on whether or not we need,
the variance from
the other building division, right?
Oh, yeah, that was the other issue. So we had a discussion for, we're gonna say attached accessory use, right?
So it's a little bit of an anomaly, and maybe something that doesn't quite make sense in the code, but we normally don't do, I know we do this by trade, we're, but, we usually don't give legal advice, but we also try, this board is trying to be fair, so that when you're not going for the building commission, well, here, then you go and you find out, geez, that we've come back, right, you go, so in looking at it, I'll give you some code sections to look at. One is 154.052, which again, is a little bit of odd, because I think what you were referring to is elevated deck or where's located. But in 154.052. Yeah, the layer, so it talks about a detached or attached accessory structure is not allowed in the front yard. I do not believe that's probably the spirit of what is meant by this front porch. However, if somebody in the building commission looks at it and decides that is an attached accessory structure under the code, it's something can happen. The whole point here is maybe you consider the kitchen sale so that you have the relief. And you don't have to worry about it.
Have we ever considered a porch an accessory structure?
Well, it's the house is an accessory structure, not, well, the problem is accessory structure isn't defined in the code. Accessory building is, and then when you go to the international code, it defines accessory structure. So it isn't clear, but it is an accessory structure, an accessory structure in general is something that's attached and not the main portion of the house. If he's already asking for it, it's no harm.
Yeah,
It's a-
I would absolutely, I think what I'll probably do is,
Well, let's hold your answer then and see what's feasible. I think you should look at it, perhaps considering really just asking for that same relief under appendix A, because that's what contains the setback. It's the diagram of the setbacks.
I thought I found a site, and I used the site in the petition, but I thought,
Well, that says that no structure shall project into the setbacks, but that's just one place.
Yeah.
And the appendix is what sets out in the residential zone district. And then there's probably one other section that you could and should, if I were you, consider. And that is the non-conforming areas. And in there, one second. In the non-conforming under 130, 154, 130, for instance.
you said 154, 134?
154, 130.
130.
When it talks about the next section, the non-conforming structure can be repaired, maintained, etc. But any non-conformance, including expanding and encroachment, is not allowed. You, by definition, are already encroaching, because your house.
Okay.
Consider that, because it's not conforming, it's a legal non-conformance, but you can't expand that.
Okay.
So, I'll look at that.
Understood, thank you.
Isn't there also a section of increasing volume within setback, as this would be important, right?
Except it's not enclosed,
It's got a limit on
well, I will consider the 131. There's a second meeting talks about the building permit. That's volume.
but the BZA asked,
So,
so I would go for it.
so it's in there,
So, you know, I don't intend to put windows or anything, just to be safe, let's
I
add.
had interpretation capacity, put a roof over and so.
Yeah, okay.
whatever that volume concept is, it is something that has been applied here. So going to the question from the board of whether it's feasible. It is, and it's the board's pleasure. The risk you have is you could certainly allow, so that a month is important for every building season, right? So that you're allowed to do the public hearing, say the month plus, to do it. The risk is, if he does not kindly get you everything in 2 weeks, do I think the application is a simple amendment? I do. Do I think the drawings can be handed to you? Yes. The risk for you is having a hearing that you continue. You might end up in the same spot, and he gets here and you want more info, then you're gonna continue that public hearing, which you're allowed to do, which then would trip and having to get more notice. So it's really a timing aspect of whether you want to roll the dice and, give him an opportunity and trust that he's gonna, on him. If he doesn't get it next month and he has a public hearing, he's gonna have a continued public hearing until you get the info you want. So that's your call, or that's obviously your pleasure, and then two, whether you can, within 2 weeks, pull all of that together.
And I don't have to make a decision this moment, or do I?
Well, they need to make a decision.
Oh.
So if your decision needs to be, will you please set the, I'd like to set this for public hearing,
Yeah.
next month, and leave it, or, let's just continue it, and then they'll decide. They have to make a decision tonight.
Okay, then I would ask the board to allow me to amend the petition and come back here at your next, sitting.
I think that's the wisest thing to do. Especially when there's like non-conforming use and expansion issues. And I think it's gonna take a greater degree of analysis for us. And I think the 3 variance issues, it's something we just need to look at closer. So that we got to be cautious as well.
Okay. And you may want to watch the tape of this meeting again on the website, just to make sure that you don't forget about it, we discussed, because there's a lot.
Okay,
Back and got it.
understood.
There's not a lot.
Okay, I'll look for it.
I'm slower.
It's all right. I think it was one hand, so I appreciate it. No, I made some notes as well, so hopefully we'll be able to get everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
Alright, so just for official, we're not gonna have a public motion to continue the preliminary hearing for the. Motion. Second. Second. All in favor, say aye.
Alright.
Okay.
And that date is, we know that exact date, it's second.
It's the second Wednesday, I will get it to you.
There's a calendar on the website too, but you can call me with any
Okay.
questions.
Should be.
It's, the meeting is August 14th, same time, 7 p.m. The deadline is July 31st by 10 a.m.
All right.
You're gonna want, again, have copies, and,
Second, is it an additional fee or?
no, and any pages that aren't changing, don't need to resubmit it, just anything that changes, which a good amount of may change.
Okay, thank you, everybody. All right.
Motion for adjourn? Oh, I can't think of one.
We don't need to be welcome. Yeah, okay, I'll retain the motion to adjourn. No. Okay, all right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. We're adjourned.